whatever wants us to grow, that's designed to pull us forward towards what we're meant to be doing. What we do or what we surround ourselves is pretty limited by what we know. Belief is just a thought you think over and over again. And so when you think a thought over and over again, it kind of becomes you. Okay, we are all set. So welcome to another Manifesting Success live call. And today we're talking about how to reinvent yourself. You know, I love the idea of reinventing yourself because it comes with the presupposition, the idea, the belief that we get to decide who we are. And we get to decide who we are at any moment, at any time. And we're not confined by our upbringing. We're not confined by our past. We're not confined by our mistakes or failures or the beliefs that have been imposed on us. And so this idea of being able to redefine ourselves and reinvent ourselves at any time is really near and dear to my heart, because I truly believe that we're all designed, we're all meant to grow, to evolve. You know, I call myself an evolutionary strategist because we're meant to evolve, to become bigger, better versions of ourselves. And we can only do that when we open up to the possibility of becoming who and what we desire to be, whatever's calling us, whatever wants us to grow. That's designed to pull us forward towards what we're meant to be doing. You know, everyone's always looking for a purpose. That's your purpose. That's your purpose, is to live and live fully. And so when we talk about reinventing yourself, I'm going to specifically walk you through 7 steps. 7 steps. And within these 7 steps, there's different levels of change, different levels of growth. And I want you to come with the idea of you can paint the picture that you desire. You have a blank canvas in front of you, and every single moment there's a blank canvas. What do you want to paint today? So when we talk about the 7 layers of change, or the 7 steps to reinvent yourself or to grow or to decide who you are, the first step, or the most basic step, is to change or shift your environment, change or shift your physical surroundings, change or shift something in your physical space. And that includes your physical body. So for example, if I want to get in shape, I am going to go to the gym. I am going to clean out my fridge and fill it with healthy food options. I am going to plan out my meals so that I'm not tempted because of busyness or stress or whatever temptation to choose unhealthy snacks. I'm going to fill my pantry with healthy snacks versus unhealthy snacks. If I want to start a business, I am going to create a business plan. I am going to work on my website. I'm going to hire the correct staff. I am going to do all of these things out on the physical world to affect change. Like, I have to take action. I have to do something. And action is actually the second step. So I want to differentiate action from the first, because the first is actually shifting something around you, shifting something around you. So if I want to feel more confident in my skin, I will probably do a makeover, get my hair done, you know, clean up my wardrobe, buy a new wardrobe. So if I want to feel that sacred space in my home, I will redecorate or clean up my home or declutter. Again, if you think about your environment, what are you surrounding yourself with? What are you looking at? What is tangible? That's the first step. The second step is action. It's actually the doingness of change. So if I want to change my results in my business, I'm going to do something different. So I'm going to make more phone calls. I am going to be out there shaking more hands. I'm going to create more relationships. If I want to find my soulmate, I'm going to actually go out and experience and flirt and talk to people. I'm going to say yes to more events. I'm going to call my friends and say, I'm available, hook me up. I wouldn't say that, but you know what I mean. If you want to get in shape, you are going to go to the gym and work out. So those are the action steps that you will take. The third step is the learning. Now, what we do or what we surround ourselves is pretty limited by what we know. And so if you want to do something different, you have to know something different. If you want to clean up your gut, let's say you have gut issues, you have to learn what causes the gut problems so that you could take the second step, which is do something different, and then which falls into the first step, which is choose different foods or fill your pantry with different foods. If I want to build a successful online business, I need to learn. What does it take? What is required? I need to learn how other people do things, because if I've never started an online business before, then I don't know what's involved. So I have to learn something new so I can take different steps so that we're not reinventing the wheel. And even, I'm not a 100% against reinventing the wheel, although because we can learn in that process, but we waste a lot of time and we do things incorrectly. And sometimes we could ground that incorrect way of doing things. So let's learn from the masters. Let's learn from the people that are successful. Let's learn from the coaches, the mentors, the trainers. Let's learn by, again, you can fill yourself with reading material. YouTube is a gold mine for information. So when you learn, let's say you want to create more peace in your life and you want to meditate, you don't know how to meditate, you can pull up a YouTube video, teaches you how to meditate. And then once you got that learning, now you can start to take action, meditate. And then with the action, you can create an environment, meaning let me find a room or a space where the children aren't going to disturb me, or my spouse isn't going to disturb me, or it's a beautiful, safe, quiet, sacred environment that allows me to meditate. So that third step is learning. The fourth step is look at your beliefs. Now, this one's a huge thing because a belief is just a thought you think over and over again. And so when you think a thought over and over again, it kind of becomes you. Now, what happens, and you've heard me say this before, is up until the age of 7, we are an open book. We are a sponge for everything that we're surrounded by. So with the beliefs of social media, the beliefs of our parents, the beliefs of family, religion, our neighbors, the people we spend time with, even the culture we spend time with. So there's certain beliefs that we just absorb up until the age of 7. And what happens is around the age of 7, we create this internal filter. And this internal filter, this critical faculty, is what we use to interpret how the world works. And how we interpret how the world works is based on what we have learned. So all that information that we absorbed, that we allowed in, that we took without critical thinking, without a barrier, without a filter, now we have a filter. So after the age of 7, as an adult, we only allow those things that fit my current underlying beliefs. And so what we have to do is, if we want to shift our life, reinvent ourselves, we have to kind of open up to new beliefs. So the question I would ask you is, let's say you want to become a millionaire. Well, what would you have to believe in order to become a millionaire? Because I'll tell you, those things that maybe some of us have been ingrained in, money doesn't grow on trees, only selfish people become rich, rich people are greedy, all of those non-serving beliefs are there. And we have to replace them, eliminate the limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering beliefs that support the goal that we want to reach, or support the person that we want to be. If I want to be fit, I have to think about, well, what are those beliefs that a fit person has? Well, they believe that you should be moving all day. They believe that eating processed unreal food is not okay. I would never put that in my body. They believe things like filling every meal with fresh fruits and vegetables, with whole foods and vegetables. So there are certain beliefs that we need to reach for if they're not ingrained in us, if they're not below that critical faculty, if they haven't been now that filter system. If we want to open up, we have to do a little bit of research. We have to do a little bit of evaluating and observing. So if someone has gotten what we want, or someone has achieved what we desire, what do they believe? Because I'll tell you, if you desire a relationship, you cannot believe that all men are, I don't know, bad, or all women are gold diggers. You can't believe that, because when you bring that belief to a relationship, you're going to create that. You're going to destroy your relationship. So you have to replace it with positive beliefs that support what you want. So the next step, the fifth step, are values. Now, values are what you hold to be true. So again, the question I would ask you is, someone who has what you want, what is important to them? So if you want a beautiful relationship, a beautiful love relationship with the man or woman of your dreams, what has to be important to you? Well, I'll tell you, giving in a relationship has to be important to you. Being a partnership has to be important to you. Creating a team, uniting as one, has to be important to you. Always growing together has to be important to you. Commitment has to be important to you. And so you look at, what are those things that are important to you? What are those values? And so I can't say I want a committed, loving relationship with the man of my dreams if what's important to me is my independence. What's important to me is to do what I want when I want. What's important to me is that I have my own money and I'm not sharing any of it. That does not fit what I desire. So we have to look at, what are those values that we want? So again, if you want to become a millionaire, what values do millionaires have? What's important to them? And I'll tell you, they don't throw their money away. Even though it seems like, oh, they have money to spend and money to throw. They don't. They don't throw their money away. They're very calculated with their money. They take investments that give them the return that they desire. They don't just invest in, random stuff here and there. So again, looking at what's important to the ideal self that I want to create for myself. The next one is identity. Identity is a big one. That's a big shift in who you think you are. And even beyond that is who you decide you are. Now, one of the things about identity is when you shift your identity, everything underneath shifts. And I'll give you an example. I used to be Miss Speed Racer. I always loved cars. I always wanted to be a race car driver. And I loved the freedom, the speed, the openness that having a car and driving it fast would give me. And I started driving when I was really young, probably about 9 years old. And so at 16, I was ready to get my license. I got my license at 16 years old on my birthday. It was a Friday afternoon. Got out of school early. My dad drove me to the DMV and I got 100% because I was serious. I was committed to getting my driver's license. So I walked with my driver's license and I got a speeding ticket. So in California, you get to go to what's called traffic school when you get a ticket. And what that does is it prevents you from having anything on your record. So you have to go to traffic school and then you're kind of, you can't get a ticket for the next 18 months. If you do get a ticket, then it does go on your record. But after 18 months, you can go to traffic school again. Well, I'll tell you, I didn't plan it, but because I was, Miss Speedy Gonzalez, I got a speeding ticket every 18 months for the next 10 years. Now, what happened, and I was going to traffic school every 18 months, and I had a perfect record, technically a perfect record, because I would get that wiped every time I went to school. So what happened 10 years later is I was pregnant and I had a baby. And all of a sudden, I became someone else. I wasn't a Speedy Gonzalez anymore. I became a mother. And because of that identity shift, I very much owned that new identity of becoming a mother. I thought I can't afford to put my son at risk anymore. And so I started to slow down. So what was important to me is my role as a mother and the fact that I was now in charge of his well-being and his safety. So that became my value. My value was my son, family, raising a child. And what I believed is that to be a mother that saw my son as important, I believed that I needed to do things that would protect him. And so I wouldn't say I probably learned how to get places on time. And how to manage my time a little bit better. So I wasn't always speeding. So I did learn that, I would say. And my action was I slowed down. And what I surrounded myself with is I changed cars. Instead of having the fast car, I drove more of the family safe and secure car. So that identity shift, that one thing shifted everything underneath that. And there's one more that's even more powerful. And this is a tough one for people to grasp. And that's your connection to spirit. That's stepping into you as spirit. Once you connect to divinity, once you connect to the universe, to God, whatever it is you call it, everything can change. Now, how is a whole other video, and actually probably a whole series of videos, but I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version here. When you ask God, the universe, to shift something in your life and you're ready, everything changes. Everything changes. When you connect to that higher part of you, everything can change. You know, Buddha was on this planet and he talked about karma, kind of the Newtonian science of action reaction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's what karma is, right? If I hurt somebody, in order to make amends, I have to feel the pain of that hurt, which probably means I'm going to get the same type of hurt back. Now, Jesus came thousands of years later and said, in a moment of grace, all karma is burned. What does that mean? We don't have to work out our debts. We don't have to work through all of the issues. We don't have to fix ourselves. We don't have to do anything to be anything different. We're perfect. We're beautiful. We're whole. So when you connect to spirit, you can literally make a decision, and then you will get supported into becoming a very different version of you, reinventing yourself. So I would love to find out what step kind of gets you most excited, and what step do you feel like you would like to work on a little bit? My other question is, how do you want to reinvent yourself? What do you see for yourself? What is that bigger, better, higher version of you calling you to become? So please share that in the comments below. Please join us live here on manifestingsuccesslive.com. And we'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.